I'm just going to figure out how to use this first. Okay, there we go. So thank you so much, everyone. We're really excited to be here. It's a wonderful opportunity for us. So thank you so much for the warm welcome. As mentioned, my name is Sarah Rogers, and I'm the Program Director at Victim Services Toronto. Many of you here in the room may have heard of Victim Services. We're a non-for-profit community-based charity. I know there are a number of different victim services sites throughout Ontario. Some are police-based, some are community-based, but here in Toronto, we're a community-based charity, and we work in very close partnership with the Toronto Police. And our mission is to provide immediate crisis response, intervention, and prevention services which are responsive to the needs of individuals, families, communities affected by crime and sudden tragedy. Now, when I talk about crime and sudden tragedy, what I'm referring to is incidents of intimate partner violence, cyberbullying, sexual assault, homicides, suicides, mental health crisis, motor vehicle accidents, fires, robberies, assaults. And if you want to think of victim services, technical, there we go. If you want to think of victim services as that fourth responder, so when an incident happens, you have fire, ambulance, police who are doing the three-tiered response, and then you have victim services who are coming in immediately afterwards. And we're providing that crisis intervention, emotional first aid in the immediate aftermath of a crime. So when an incident happens, we'll get the referral, and that referral can come from Toronto Police, other police services, hospital social workers, school social workers, other community agencies, as well an individual can refer themselves. And it will go to our crisis response program. And our crisis response program, if you want to think of that program as a triage in a hospital setting, their role is to get in there as quickly as possible, really assess the needs of the client, safety needs, address all of those practical concerns, and then connect that individual to longer-term supports. And those longer-term supports could exist in the community. And where we're not able to find services in the community and somebody is at high risk, multiple vulnerabilities, maybe there's a number of different barriers that they're facing, they're going to go to our in-house programs, which is enhanced services, and that's our case management program, and they're going to stick with the client a little bit longer, so maybe 1 to 3 months or even longer sometimes, and that's enhanced services. And then we also have our high-risk support services, and that program is really designed for individuals who are at high risk of losing their lives due to maybe it's intimate partner violence, sexual assault, stalking. And then after we really make sure the individual is connected to longer term supports, we close our case. So, you know, why victim services? Why are we here today? As victim services responds to crime and domestic violence and sexual assault, and we see the result of trauma, we realize as a community organization, it is our duty and a responsibility to try and prevent crime and sudden tragedy. So in 2007, we designed our TEAR workshop, and that stands for Teens Ending Abusive Relationships. And that workshop was to go into the high schools, go into grade 8 classes and talk to students about what does a healthy relationship look like? What is an unhealthy relationship? How can students reach out for help? And then, you know, we thought we were doing really good at that. And then we realized, oh, you know, we've designed this great program for youth, but we didn't really consult youth. And so in 2011, we developed our TEAR Youth Leadership Program. And we went out and we recruited youth throughout Toronto, and they come to our office on a regular basis every week, every Thursday, and they redesigned the entire workshop. We went out and did focus groups in the community and really got youth feedback and really incorporated that into the workshop. And then one day they came to me and they said, you know what, Sarah? that's really great that we're going into the high schools. It's great that we're going into the youth leadership program. But you know what? We need to do more. Youth, yeah, they're in the classroom, but you know where they really are? They're online. And let's really take our message to the online world. And you know, we could do this thing called a Twitter chat. And I said to them, Twitter, what? A hashtag? What's a hashtag? And they come up with the whole concept, and we developed this together, developed this Twitter chat, but it was all from the youth perspective and the youth idea, youth-led, youth-driven. And that's our social media engagement Tier Talk, which happens every Thursday. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in a minute. And then as we started to really delve into this online cyber world, we really started to see how vast it was and how it transcended jurisdictions and how much our youth were affected and how it did not discriminate. And we wanted to figure out what we were going to do, so we had this project called Safe Space, Students and Partners Against Cyber Violence Everywhere. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then that led us into our project, Healthy Relationships and Systems in a Digital World project. And I'm going to get into that more. But first, what I really wanted to talk about is some statistics on cyber violence. And this is stuff that we're starting to see on the ground. But to just drive it home a little bit more, what we are seeing and what the research is telling us is that 1 in 5 students report being cyberbullied or cyberstalked. We see that 9% of boys and 8% of girls sent a sext. A sext, for all those, I'm thinking most of you know, but if anybody doesn't, a sext is sending an intimate photo, intimate language to somebody else. 26% of boys and 20% of girls had a sext of themselves forwarded. And what we're also starting to see is this trend of human trafficking. Now, human trafficking has existed for a really long time. We just kind of got to be in the know, and we're seeing it because we have more awareness of it. But just to share some statistics with you, we have 25% of human trafficking victims are under the age of 18, and traffickers are using social media to identify, communicate, lure, groom, and coerce, as well as advertise minors for sex. And this isn't just happening on a computer. This is happening in your schools. And this is something that we really need to be aware of and that we need to work together on. And the fact that it is so large, it's such a huge problem that none of us can do it on our own. Again, this crosses sectors. And it is all of our responsibility in this room to try and do something about it, whether it's in a school or whether you're police or whether you're working as a social worker in the social service sector. And the only way we can be successful is through cross-sectorial collaboration. This is cross-sectors, coming together to share our knowledge and resources. And let's not forget our youth. We tend to talk at youth, we tend to be the teacher, but we really need to start thinking about youth being the experts in their own lives, and we need to listen to that. And we really need to have the youth-adult partnership. It's great that we can develop all these programs, but how do we know they're really effective if we're not consulting youth and we don't have them at the table? And I'm going to get more into our youth social media initiatives. So just to kind of go back and get into Safe Space a little bit more, and I'll keep an eye on my time here. What we're going to think about for Safe Space, that project was funded by the Status of Women Canada, and we did exactly that. We brought law enforcement, we brought school boards, we brought funders, all to one table. We brought youth to try and figure out what are we going to do with this issue of cyber violence. And we got input from youth focus groups, an online survey. We had youth at the table, and we had the steering committee. We identified what the needs, our gaps in our systems, and we developed a strategy to be able to respond more efficiently. And that's if you want to think of this project as a macro systems project, meso at the organizational level. What that led to was our Healthy Relationships and Systems in a Digital World project. And that project is funded by the Ministry of Education. Safe Space is wrapped up, and now we're into the Healthy Relationships project. And that's a partnership project, and we're working with Ontario Principals Council, Catholic Principals Council, ADFO, which is our French Victim Services, and the Ministry of Education. Our contributors are Toronto Police Service, TDSB, Toronto Catholic District School Board, the White Ribbon Campaign, Status of Women Canada, and then we're evaluating the project. So what is Healthy Relationships and Systems in a Digital World actually doing? So what we're doing is developing tools and resources for principals to be able to respond to cyber violence. And what we're also doing is supporting our youth leadership program to create more awareness videos, to do training on leadership, conflict, working in a group, cyber violence, healthy relationships, how do you navigate that? What does inclusion and diversity actually look like in practice? And it's also supporting our weekly Twitter chat. And what is the benefit of having this cross-sectoral collaboration? Our cross-sectoral collaboration, why it's so important is we really get diverse perspectives and expertise. We get knowledge sharing, efficient communication. So when we're responding to a cyber violence incident, and police are over here doing their thing, and the principal's over here doing their thing, and maybe the principal's doing some practices that, could really kind of affect them in a liability sense. And we really had a lot of discussion about that at the table to really protect principals' rights and make sure that they're following their due process, police are following their due process. So it's really making sure that it's more streamlined. It's good for networking, right? We're leveraging our resources. Having 5 voices from different sectors is way better than having one, because not one sector, one organization is going to be able to address this problem on their own. We're going to decrease overlap and gaps in the service, and we want to increase accessibility, and then just to be better response for youth. So I already discussed, tools for principals. So what the tool for principals is going to look like is a placemat. And we hope to roll it out in Toronto very, very soon. And what it has is your proactive side, where you do all your prep work, your prevention stuff, and your knowledge about all of the stuff that you're going to need to have in case an incident happens. And then on the flip side, you have your reactive side and how you're going to respond to cyber violence and what are all the different steps that you need to take. So what is the benefit of having youth empowerment? So the real benefit of youth empowerment is to really make sure that youth are gaining skills and knowledge from you. They're gaining increased self-esteem. They're getting connected. You're developing that relationship. But really what I want to emphasize, what's in it for the adults? What's in it for the adults is that we're enhancing our own skills. So when new social media platforms come up and new nuances and trends come up in the youth, they're able to inform me and they're going to teach me. And I'm going to understand as a result their needs better. And I'm going to be able to stay current with the growing trends. And for me, just as a worker who's been in the field for quite some time now, I get to have a renewed energy and commitment. There's nothing like going in and having a brainstorm with youth. They're the ones with all the great ideas. They're the ones who have the innovation, right? I'm just kind of the one who's along for the ride. They're the ones who have the skills. And we really need to start listening to that more. So what is the benefit of having youth empowerment and a youth-adult partnership? Well, we're able to take all the skills that they're learning in the youth leadership program and apply it online. And we're tackling really tough topics. such as cyberbullying, cybersexual harassment. We're looking at digital leadership. What does digital leadership actually mean? And what is digital citizenship? You know, telling a youth to stay offline is like saying don't cross the road, right? When we teach kids to cross the road growing up, we teach them to look both ways. So why are we not doing that when it comes to the online world? It's not something we need to be fearful of. It's just something that we need to incorporate skills of citizenship. We forgot that along the way. Online safety, catfishing. Catfishing what? I wouldn't know what catfishing was. I learned that from the youth. We talk and really tackled Islamophobia and homophobia and transphobia and human trafficking. We did code moderations with our partners and really upped our numbers, and we tackled consent culture and the hashtags #MeToo and I Will, and we also tackled engaging men and boys as allies. What I'm really excited about is our impact. Just in 2017, we were able to trend top 10 in Canada 5 times. We were also able to generate over 21,000 tweets, over 30 million impressions, 1,000 contributors, and 3 million accounts reached. And this is how we create culture change. By working together and having youth at the forefront and working as our partners and teachers. And I'm just going to show a quick little video about, hopefully it works, to really show the work that we do.
Don't define me by my race, by my size, by my looks, by my sexuality, by my gender. Define me by my intelligence, my skills, my hard work, my resilience, my personality. Define me by the type of person I am. Look at that picture. Look past the outside. Look at my eyes. Look at my soul. See the soul that you are hurting with each and every comment. See the person that you're destroying with each post and each picture that follow me around everywhere I go.
I have a soul. I have feelings. I have my own experiences, my own hardships, just as you do. I wish you could see behind the picture. I wish you could put yourself in my place. Because after all, we are all human.
I know that your soul aches, so you must make mine ache too. Although I don't know what's making your heart ache, I know that's never right to hurt others because you ache. I wish that you would understand that life is hard, but every time you fall, you get back up and keep fighting. You don't get to fall and drag others with you, because no matter how many people you drag down, it won't help you get back up.
So while I don't hate you, I hate what you're doing to me. I wish you would stop so that you'd see that you're not only hurting me, but you're also hurting yourself. So that you'd see that you're just amplifying the cycle of violence online.
Because online violence is vicious. Because the internet is like fire, it can light the way or burn you. Because it is all of our responsibility to stop it. If only you would stop. If only one person would comment, "Stop, that isn't true. It's hurtful. Why are you doing this? This isn't like you." If only even one person spoke up. Because if they don't, then who will? If not now, then when?
So that video was written, the script was written by our youth leaders, performed by our youth leaders. It was filmed, this one, by Toronto Police, and they really helped us out with sound that we were struggling with and a teleprompter, so it's all those technical things. We do have several other, I have one more slide. How do I do that? So I have one more slide with, thank you very much. So we do have a number of other videos on our YouTube channel, and we use these videos to really raise awareness about intimate partner violence, cyber violence, how you can reach out and get help. We Join us on Twitter every Thursday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. with the hashtag Tear Talk. Instagram, Facebook, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, as well as our youth are here and they are speaking tomorrow. So you can stop by our presentation and learn more. Questions? All right, thank you so much.